Since the release of my Enemy Phase is Dead video, I have received word that we have gotten several new tanks in the game and new skills to help with tanking. However, it just so happens that one of these new tanks is very tanky and makes a lot of other units tanky in the process, meaning that what I was once able to do with any player phase nuke is now no longer as applicable. And because of this, IS has to nerf it. Otherwise, player phase will continue to be dead forever and ever. Who is this brand new tank that just so happens to make everything very hard to deal with? Well, it's Emblem, of course. He has a distant counter weapon that allows him to counterattack regardless of the foe's range. He also comes with Aether that heals him a lot, meaning that chip damage doesn't really work against him at all. And to top it all off, he's an infantry unit, which means he could use skills such as Spurn, meaning that unless you have a way of cutting through his damage reduction, he will completely ruin your day. And I don't put this lightly either. As somebody who only fought Valentine's Ike in the Abyssal where his stats are so inflated that it caters to a specific demographic of people, I can tell you that this is very bad for the game. Why? Because instead of being able to use Fury Gale Force with 3 dancers to clear these maps, I had to use AoE with 3 dancers. And when I have to adapt to the game that continues to adapt and change, then we have a problem. To put this in a way that makes complete sense to the audience, let's compare the player phase cavalry unit Valentine's Leon to this new young Ike. Unlike Valentine's Leon, who has nearly 0 counterplay, Brave Ike has several ways of being defeated, but those several things are things that I don't own or do not feel like using. So in a way, Fallen Ike is just as bad as Valentine's Leon, and to me, that's bad for the game. And it's not like Legendary Ike is the only problem here either. The brand new inheritable in the form of Lago's Friend 4 is arguably the tipping point that makes tanking so incredibly difficult to deal with now, and something that I almost considered quitting the entire game over. And you know it's bad when me of all people consider quitting over OG Ike. Lago's Friend 4, for those who are illiterate in my audience, is effectively a skill that grants true damage reduction based on the higher of your defense in res, while also granting special jumps of up to 2 points and damage reduction piercing. And for those in the audience who don't have the ability to listen to this video, Lago's Friend 4 is And to top it all off, because it's a brand new inheritable skill with more than 2 lines of text, it's arguably the strongest B slot in the game right now, which is a problem. To put this in a way that makes complete sense to the audience, I'll demonstrate how broken Lago's Friend 4 is by showing this very real Aetherites match that I just happened to run into twice while coincidentally having a team with and without Lago's Friend Lucas on it. In the first match, it's very evident that Alir beats Lucas because I didn't have Lago's Friend 4 on him. So to remedy this, I summoned for Lago's Friend 4, trained up Lucas a bit more so that he can learn the skill because he was lacking a bit of SP, and then I went back into Aetherites, where I just so happened to run back into the same very real Aetherites match. But watch what happens now that I have Lago's Friend 4 equipped on Lucas. And for those in the audience who can't see, hear what happens when I equip Lago's Friend 4 on Lucas.
Leave it to me. This is farewell.
Too strong.
Do you hear how big of a problem this is? Instead of having 1 or 2 units in the game that has over 1,000 units that are hard to take out, now we have at least 3 units in the game that has over 1,000 units that will become hard to take out, and that's bad for the game. And when it's bad for the game, that's a problem. And it's not just sword infantry and lance infantry and axe infantry and dragon infantry and beast infantry that could get it. It's also all the ranged infantry, including tomes and daggers and the other ones that I can't remember at this moment and will not pause the recording to find out. Could you imagine giving this to a Henry and then he basically just wipes the entire game because, you know, now that he has Lago's Friend and he's basically unkillable? I don't think it's something anybody wants to look forward to. To put this in a way that makes complete sense to the audience, let's say that Emblem Mike had to fight 1 billion lions, but the lions don't have any damage reduction piercing, or hardy bearing, or scowl, or area of effect specials, or anything that prevents Ike from getting support, including AoE protection. Do you see where I'm getting at? Why the fuck are there 1 billion lions? And that's the issue we have on our hands right now, folks. Ike, for all intents and purposes, is a bad addition to the game because he can tank. And if tanking is considered bad, then so is he. And instead of spending money on these bad practices, consider spending money on me by using the join function down below so that I can continue to fuel my crippling addictions. Thank you, and I'll see you again when player phase is no longer dead.